champions of the past, we have world champions of the present.
Jake Paul found himself attacked in the streets by Andrew Tate, and honestly, many people weren't surprised, it felt inevitable. New York descended into chaos on December 14th as months of brewing tension between the two finally erupted. Their encounter wasn't scheduled or organized, they simply crossed paths by coincidence. Yet Jake couldn't resist hurling his trademark outrageous insults toward Andrew. What happened next was pure chaos, exactly the kind of scene Andrew had long hinted might happen.
Clear to me, you are desperate for a reality check. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters who would.
When it comes to Jake Paul, everyone knows he's made a career out of stirring controversy, whether it's calling out combat sports icons like Mike Tyson or carefully handpicking opponents to keep his undefeated record alive. But what unfolded on December 14th went beyond his usual antics. This time, it was Andrew Tate, valued at an estimated $710 million and a four-time kickboxing world champion, stepping up to confront Jake in the heart of a crowded street, as if he had a statement to make. And indeed, he made it loud and clear.
If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living fuck out of a fucking goofy, fucking entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate. Fucking Google it if you want to know more. Any day, anytime.
For anyone unfamiliar, Andrew Tate isn't the type of person who does things halfway. This wasn't just a casual run-in or some petty social media argument. Tate deliberately faced Jake Paul right there in the middle of a bustling street, with fans all around, phones out, recording every second. It was nothing less than a public reality check. And as for Jake, his trademark bravado seemed to evaporate in an instant. If his confidence were a dial, Tate turned it all the way down.
Go. Work. Come on, Marcus. Keep going. Work.
Come on, fight.
Make it. Hey. 50 seconds. Come on, 20 seconds to walk, Steve. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, work.
Work. Good.
Work. 10 seconds.
Work.
Jake Paul thrives on confidence, it's his signature style. Whether he's mocking opponents or flaunting his lavish life to 20 million followers, that self-belief is what powers his brand and sells his fights. But in that exact moment, there was no trace of it. Andrew Tate wasn't just another random guy Jake could dismiss with a quick, sarcastic remark. He wasn't one of those carefully chosen opponents lined up by Jake's team. This was Andrew Tate, a completely different caliber altogether.
Yeah, he'll never do that though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract. And two,
he's not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better. He might
and
say,
it's funny to say, like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul and will never.
Jake's body language spoke volumes. Andrew Tate didn't have to raise his voice or throw a single punch, his towering presence and calm, composed demeanor said it all. Jake, who normally shines in confrontations, looked completely out of his comfort zone. And you know it's serious when the man known for his loudmouth comebacks is left without a single word.
The lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kickboxer.
This wasn't some random, heat-of-the-moment incident. Andrew Tate's decision to confront Jake Paul had been simmering for months. Jake built his reputation by calling out legends, many long past their peak, while skillfully dodging true challenges. Tate saw straight through the facade. For a man who's spent his entire life dedicated to real combat sports, watching Jake carefully cherry-pick opponents must have been infuriating. And when Jake crossed the line by calling Tate a washed-up fighter, that was the last straw.
When you see some of these crossover fights, obviously I know that you and Jake Paul have had your disagreements. Do you think that Jake's gotten better as a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know?
Tate didn't step up to Jake Paul for publicity, let's be honest, he doesn't need it. It wasn't about money either, his wealth speaks for itself. This was purely about sending a message. In the world of combat sports, respect isn't earned by social media followers or trash talk, it's earned by stepping up against real, worthy competition, something Jake has consistently avoided. Tate wasn't there to play games, he was there to remind Jake what true respect in the fight game really means.
Two brothers, one cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
Don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful. But of course, I have absolute faith in myself and my brother, and I know what we've been through, and I know the kind of...
December 14th started off like any regular day until everything changed. On a jam-packed street, surrounded by fans and curious onlookers forming a tight human circle, Andrew Tate made his move. Phones were already out, cameras were rolling, and within minutes, the footage spread like wildfire across social media. Hashtags like hashtag Tate vs. Paul, hashtag Jake Paul exposed, and hashtag respect the game were trending within hours.
I'm sorry. Look, Andrew, fighter, legitimate, badass motherfucker, strong mentality. Sorry, Tristan Tate is the weak link.
I say let's run
he got a bad shoulder. He's shaped like a gingerbread man. I don't want no beef, but that's delusion.
PFO will set this up.
A MMA double tag team match.
10 million for everybody.
You might have a fight on your hands.
That would go crazy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. No, seriously.
I'm
let's
about
do
the
it.
action. Like I'm less talk now. Let's just fucking go.
Yo, but you know for a fact, me and Jake will travel to Romania. We will make this happen. We'll do it wherever you want, whatever condition.
Jake Paul's entire public image is built on being untouchable, the underdog who always beats the odds, silences doubters, and proves critics wrong over and over again. He's crafted his story as the outsider who forced his way into combat sports, challenging seasoned fighters, thriving under immense pressure, and using doubt as fuel for success. His confidence, often bordering on sheer arrogance, has been his defining trait, driving his trash talk, bold predictions, and unapologetic self-promotion. It's this larger-than-life bravado that's drawn fans in and enraged critics, making him one of the most divisive figures in modern boxing. But when Andrew Tate stood face-to-face with him, all that bravado melted away in an instant. It wasn't just a confrontation, it was a moment that stripped Jake of the invincible persona he had so carefully created. The usual smirks, cocky remarks, and exaggerated confidence vanished, replaced by an unspoken tension that couldn't be ignored. Tate's energy was unlike any opponent Jake had faced. He wasn't just another fighter looking for attention or a big payday. He carried a raw, unshakable confidence rooted in years of true combat experience, a presence that didn't need theatrics to be intimidating. In that silent standoff, it became obvious Jake wasn't up against another influencer-turned-fighter or a celebrity opponent, he was standing before someone who embodied the pure essence of a fighter. Tate didn't need to yell or boast, his history, skill, and sheer aura spoke louder than words. For Jake, this might have been the first time he genuinely felt the weight of what it means to face someone who isn't playing a role, someone who truly lives and breathes the fight game. It was a reality check, a visible crack in the armor of invincibility he'd worn for so long, showing that beneath all the showmanship, even Jake Paul can be shaken.
Hey, keep going. Come on, work. Go, work. Come on, Marshall, keep going. Work! Come on, fight. Make it. 50 seconds. Come on, 20 seconds to walk, Steve. Let's go, let's go, let's go!
Andrew Tate didn't have to do much, his presence alone spoke volumes. With his towering frame and years of experience as a world champion kickboxer, there was no need for shouting or exaggerated gestures. Jake, however, was clearly unsettled. He tried to respond in his usual fashion, firing back with words, but this time, they landed with no impact. This wasn't a confrontation he could simply talk his way out of. As soon as the footage hit the internet, it was game over, at least for Jake's pride. Within hours, memes were everywhere on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. People compared him to a child being scolded by a father, and mocked the bold persona he had built. Social media had an absolute field day. Meanwhile, Andrew Tate's following surged. Even those who weren't his fans before couldn't help but admire his calm, commanding composure and undeniable dominance.
On the planet is Jake Paul. Why? I mean, who's doing it? I mean, if Mike Tyson says, let's do this, are you down? 100%.
I'm gonna make Mike my girlfriend.
Would you fight Mike Tyson? Again, no, because he's now old, and I would be an absolutely tragic shame to knock out an old version of his prime self. That doesn't feel fair. Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in a boxing match, so to beat him when he's past his prime feels dishonorable, and I feel dirty for doing that. So there's no amount of money on the planet that could do this.
The debate erupted instantly. Was Tate justified in calling Jake out so publicly, or was this just another example of two inflated egos clashing for attention in the ever-growing spectacle of combat sports? Fans, commentators, and fighters were sharply divided. Some insisted that Tate's bold move was necessary, a much-needed reality check exposing the superficiality creeping into the sport. They saw him as defending the integrity of combat sports, challenging someone who, in their view, skipped the hard grind and gained fame without earning genuine respect inside the ring. For those supporters, Tate's actions weren't about personal pride but about standing up for the authenticity of the fight game. On the flip side, critics saw it differently. They claimed this was nothing more than a calculated stunt, a strategic move crafted to generate headlines, boost engagement, and keep both names trending on social media. To them, it wasn't about honor or the purity of combat. It was about marketing, brand building, and capitalizing on the public's hunger for drama. They argued that both men thrived on controversy, and this was just another chapter in their shared pursuit of fame and fortune. Regardless of where you stood, one thing was undeniable: this wasn't going to fade away quietly. The confrontation had struck a nerve, sparking passionate discussions not just in the boxing world but across the entire sports community. It became bigger than two men. It reflected the current state of combat sports itself, a battle between tradition and modernity, between legacy and virality. As the buzz grew louder, it was clear that this rivalry had dug deep roots, promising more drama, more debates, and possibly an explosive showdown that could define both of their careers.
A fighter in a way that he never will be. I'm known as a fighter in the way that if you throw me in a cell with a murderer, a rapist, and two drug dealers, people look at me and go, oh, hey, respect. He would have left with a higher male body count than his fiancée. That's how he would live.
This wasn't just a simple clash between two individuals, it was a collision of two entirely different ideologies, each representing opposite forces shaping the future of combat sports. Jake Paul symbolizes the new era, a world where clout often outweighs skill, where the spotlight shines brightest on those who can generate the most buzz rather than those with the most talent. His rise in boxing isn't rooted in years of grinding through amateur circuits or taking on seasoned fighters to earn his stripes. Instead, it's powered by his massive social media following, carefully chosen callouts, and viral headline-grabbing antics. For Jake, boxing is less about proving himself as a legitimate athlete and more about creating viral spectacles, maximizing pay-per-view numbers, and staying culturally relevant. Andrew Tate, on the other hand, represents the old-school mindset. A fighter molded by traditional values, where respect is earned through grit, relentless discipline, and performance inside the ring, not by follower counts or flashy self-promotion. Coming from a background of grueling training, real competition, and stepping into the ring for the love of the sport, Tate's perspective is firmly grounded in authenticity. He believes a fighter's legacy should be defined by skill, resilience, and hard-fought battles, not by how well they can market themselves online. To him, combat sports aren't just entertainment, they're about honor, tradition, and the unspoken code shared among true warriors. Their confrontation wasn't simply a personal feud, it was a symbolic moment reflecting a broader cultural shift within combat sports. It highlighted the growing divide between those who view fighting as an art demanding deep respect and those who see it as a business platform for fame and fortune. In many ways, this clash was the past meeting the present, leaving the future of the sport hanging in the balance.
He'd mentioned me before, and there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Froch's talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problem.
For Andrew Tate, this wasn't only about Jake Paul, it was about what Jake represented, a new wave in combat sports that prioritizes spectacle over substance, hype over hard-earned skill, and social media fame over authentic fighting spirit. In Tate's eyes, Jake symbolizes the trend of influencers bypassing the traditional, grueling path of the sport through online popularity and careful matchmaking. While entertaining for the masses, this trend threatens to overshadow the dedication, discipline, and sacrifice that true fighters endure to reach the top. By confronting Jake, Tate wasn't just defending his own name, he was standing up for an entire generation of fighters who have poured years into the gym, taken countless hits, mastered the craft, and earned respect the hard way. For Tate, this was a stand against the commercialization of combat sports, where the spotlight often favors personalities over professionals. It was his way of sending a powerful message. In this game, respect isn't bought with followers or viral moments, it's earned through sweat, struggle, and undeniable skill. This confrontation was more than personal, it symbolized a larger fight for the soul of combat sports.
One cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet.
In the days following the confrontation, the internet was ablaze with speculation. Social media platforms overflowed with heated debates, memes, and endless reaction videos. Fans on both sides passionately argued about what would come next, questioning whether Jake would finally step into the ring with Tate or continue to avoid what many called real competition. Every post, comment, and tweet only poured more fuel on the fire, keeping the rivalry alive and intensifying. The media amplified the frenzy, running headlines like "Andrew Tate humiliates Jake Paul," "Jake Paul's legacy on the line," and "The showdown that could change combat sports forever." Analysts broke down every second of the footage, while podcasts and sports talk shows kept the topic trending. At this point, it wasn't just about a possible fight anymore, it had evolved into a cultural phenomenon, capturing the attention of not only fight fans but the wider public. The anticipation was electric, with everyone waiting to see Jake's next move.
Was on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you.
For Jake, the aftermath was harsh. His carefully built image took a massive hit, shaking the confident persona he had maintained for years. The backlash was swift and unforgiving, with critics growing louder than ever, questioning not just his fighting ability but his very place in the combat sports world. This moment gave his doubters new ammunition, casting doubt on his previous victories and fueling the narrative that he was never a legitimate fighter. For Andrew Tate, however, it was a clear win, both in respect and exposure. He didn't just call Jake out, he backed up every word with action, proving his points about respect, authenticity, and what it truly means to be a fighter. Tate's triumph wasn't simply about dominating the headlines, it was about reinforcing the values that many believe are missing in today's spectacle-driven fight culture. This encounter solidified his stance and left a lasting impact on both their careers and the larger combat sports community. Now the big question is, what's next for Jake Paul and Andrew Tate? Their rivalry has captured global attention, with fans already demanding an official fight to settle the score once and for all. Online debates are fierce, predictions are bold, and speculation about how such a match would play out is endless. Some argue that Jake doesn't stand a chance against Tate's superior combat experience, sharp technique, and ironclad mental toughness, pointing to Tate's kickboxing pedigree as a decisive advantage. On the other hand, many believe Jake's youth, relentless drive, and rapid growth as a boxer could give him an edge. They highlight his discipline, work ethic, and proven ability to thrive under pressure as qualities that shouldn't be underestimated. As anticipation builds, one thing is clear, if this fight ever happens, it won't just be about who wins in the ring. It will become a defining moment for both of their legacies, shaping how they are remembered in the history of combat sports. What's certain is that this rivalry is far from over. It's not just a clash of personalities, it's a battle fueled by pride, ego, and the desire to prove who truly belongs at the top. Whether it leads to a dramatic showdown in the ring or unfolds through more high-stakes drama on social media, the entire world is watching closely, eager for the next twist. Fans, critics, and fighters alike are all waiting to see how this escalating feud will play out. For now, all we can do is wait and see how Jake responds. Will he step up to the challenge, showing resilience, growth, and the spirit of a true fighter? Or will he continue relying on hype and spectacle, avoiding the risks that could define his legacy? Only time will reveal the answer. This confrontation was more than just a one-time event, it was a wake-up call for Jake Paul, a brutal reminder that respect in combat sports isn't earned through trash talk alone. It marked a pivotal moment, exposing the gap between showmanship and genuine skill, and highlighting the difference between building a flashy brand and building a lasting legacy. Andrew Tate made his point undeniably clear: you can have all the clout in the world, but without true respect, it means nothing. His message went beyond the ring, emphasizing that recognition comes from hard work, discipline, and facing real challenges, not from online popularity or viral antics. For Jake, this moment could be the beginning of a deeper realization about what it truly takes to earn respect in the fight game. For the fans, this wasn't just another piece of entertainment, it was a revealing glimpse into the growing tension between traditional combat sports and the new age of internet-driven spectacles. It highlighted how the lines between professional athleticism and social media stardom have become increasingly blurred, sparking debates about the authenticity and future of the sport. Some viewers enjoyed the spectacle for its sheer excitement and unpredictability, while others felt it undermined the respect and discipline that traditional fighters embody. As for Jake, this could very well be the reality check he didn't know he needed, a moment that might force him to reassess his approach, sharpen his skills, and truly understand that success in the ring requires far more than hype and confidence. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this fight breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Fightcore for more powerful boxing updates. Stay tuned for the next round.